I promise this series was played recently, okay? So, the funny thing about this particular best of 3 is that it could have easily taken place literally a decade ago. As a matter of fact, I was interested, I just looked it up. The first time that these two pro gamers played against each other was back in 2011, and the last time before this particular best of 3 series was in 2015. Spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of Jaganatha, playing with the red Zerg drones, we have DRG. DRG, of course, he's been back from the military service for quite some time already. Yeah, he's been doing really well, actually, as well, so definitely not a name I think that needs a ton of additional introduction, although you might not be as familiar with him because I haven't covered that many games on my YouTube channel. His opponent, though, a very aggressive Zerg player. I've seen him play a lot of macro as well back in the day, but there's no denying that in general, he enjoys getting those Zerglings out on the board really early on. Playing here with the blue Zerg drones, literally just completing his military service like, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago or so. Anyways, we're looking at none other than Leenock's main base. So, Leenock is one of those players who had most of his success in Wings of Liberty. So it's been quite some time. He won a couple of the MLG events. I know, MLG doesn't even do StarCraft tournaments anymore. But he's won a bunch of MLG events back in like, I think like 2011, 2012, 2013 or so. And there's no denying that, yeah, he's a very highly ranked Zerg player, at the very least used to be. I have no particular clue though, how good he is right now. So, we're gonna find out together. It's a Zerg versus Zerg, so this matchup obviously is very explosive. DRG will find out at this point that his opponent did decide to go for a very quick spawning pool. Gas has already come up as well, and he's just adding on more and more Zerglings. A hatchery was built on the low ground, but the Leenoctopus is what people call him, actually. I just remembered. The Leenoctopus, ready to apparently attack his opponent at, like, what, 8 different angles? Is it 8? I think it's 8. I guess Octo means, yeah, it must be 8. Anyways, drones are pulled away from the main base, I was going to say. He's leaving one drone in the gas as well, which is probably not what you want to do. Regardless, he is going to be able to start making a lot of Zerglings. The question is, how much damage can Leenock do right here? So losing the hatchery would be a disaster. Losing more than 4 drones would be a disaster as well. Basically, as the red Zerg right now, you want to buy time until your Zerglings are out and until you get your queens out, right? So he's just dancing back and forth, trying to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. Yeah, look at that. Good control here by DRG, not really losing anything so far. And as long as he holds on, you can see that the worker advantage here is heavily in his favor. That being said, there's Zergling speed right now as a follow-up. I haven't really seen any drones from Leenock at all. Oh my god, Leenock is playing so aggressively. Yeah, this guy's just going completely... Okay, yeah. This is the Leenock I remember. He's still at 12 drones. We're nearly 3 minutes into the game, and the man has not queued up a single worker. This is the way that people used to play StarCraft a lot. Oh no. Okay, I was gonna say, if DRG sends out all of those Zerglings, he's gonna get surrounded by Speedlings. But luckily for him, he decides to attack with only 2. A little bit of scouting here. Queen available as well. Good control so far, though, by DRG. I'm just a little concerned about the fact that he's making... He lost 0 workers here. This is actually a flawless 12-pool defense. I'm just a little bit concerned about the fact that he's adding on a lot more drones, whereas his opponent is... not doing a whole lot. Okay, so he does get the scout off right now, DRG that is. He should know, yeah, that there are no drones inside of his opponent's natural expansion. He starts up the spine crawler immediately. I think another queen would not hurt either. That hatchery is actually still, yeah, quite bruised from earlier. Okay, that's a ton of Zerglings coming up right now. If that hatchery falls, it would still definitely be playable, but it's not gonna be ideal. Okay, the drones are pulled away right now as well. They're gonna try and join in this battle once again. Hatchery, though, running dangerously low on health. He's target firing it down with at least a couple of Zerglings, and I think it will indeed fall. Few drones once again end up going down only. But right now, we're talking 1 base versus 2 base. One of the queens ends up getting surrounded as well. Okay, Leenock did add on a couple drones at this point, by the way, so he is droning. It's something. Yeah, he's just trying to maximize the damage output right now, and now he killed 4 workers, and he actually comes out of this exchange. Even though it looked really quite bad for him earlier, he does come out of this exchange just barely ahead. Link speed, though, is going to finish here for DRG. He does still have a lot of Zerglings left over, because, of course, he was overmaking those Zerglings to try and defend. How good is the defense going to be here for Leenock? He's still mining gas, by the way. So... I don't know, either a Roach Warren, okay, yeah, either a Roach Warren or a Baneling Nest. Usually in these low eco scenarios, the Baneling Nest is quite a bit better. Spine Crawler is bleeding out on the low ground, but I guess it's waiting until that hatchery finishes up once more. A Spine Crawler off creep. defending a hatchery that's building. This is a bit of an awkward shot. You have to know the rest of the game to understand what's going on. We don't usually see this. Anyways, Baneling Nest is coming up. Leenock once again. Dude, this guy... this guy is just saving up Zerglings right now. Yeah, he's just making non-stop Zerglings. So he's made a handful of workers in total this game. His opponent doesn't have... well, he's got a lot of gas. DRG is mining a ton of gas, but he's not spending it on anything. I think he probably wants to go for like a... Oh, God. Is that spine gonna bleed out? No, it's back on creep right now, so it's getting some nice nutrients, I guess. Anyways, the problem is... did he see that? I don't know if he saw those Zerglings there. Anyways, the problem is right now that there is barely anything available for DRG. Other than, like, luck and really good micro to defend against those Banes. He sees the Banes certainly right now. Oh, okay. And he just taps out immediately. Okay, so game number 2 takes place on a light shade. Now, from what I've gathered, most of the StarCraft pros and StarCraft 2 pros from South Korea, they seem to delay their mandatory military service for as long as possible. And I think you need to start it up at like 28 years old or so at latest. However, from what I've gathered, it seems like that is actually not... Dude, is he... He was making a drone! Did he cancel the drone and then go into... Okay. Once again, early spotting pool right here from Leenock. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I think... I don't really know too much, right? But I think it's not actually very common at all to delay your mandatory service until you're like 28 years old. It's just... I guess something you do when you're making a bunch of money playing video games. You just try to squeeze as much juice out of it as possible. Is the man sending out a drone right now? Ay, ay, ay. You only really do this if you go for a 12 pool and then build a spine crawler on your opponent's creep. Because early on, say you build it over there or over there, your opponent actually doesn't have vision of the outer perimeter of the main. I think that's what's going on. Anyways, what I was trying to get at is that DRG has already completed his a little while ago, and he's currently 29 years old, and Leenock has already completed his, of course, just recently, and he's 26. What? Okay. So, this could actually become a bit of a disaster. Yo, Mr. Leenock, can you do me a favor and at the very least, like, let this game go on for a little bit longer just so I can activate mid-roll ads on my YouTube? Yes! Guys! Woo! Mid-roll ads are saved! Yay! Everyone rejoice! I know you guys are massive fans of mid-roll ads, right? I actually sometimes get some angry comments of people saying that I shouldn't do those, but like... Guys, I also need to pay bills. I can't just, you know... pay for groceries with StarCraft passion, okay? Anyways, this video is going in an entirely different direction. He starts up another spine right now in the natural expansion. Oh my god, Leenock. The hyper cheesy Zerg is back, baby. I don't remember him playing this cheesy, but... Ay, ay, ay. So nice micro there once again by DRG. DRG, by the way, defended wonderfully in the first game. Until he didn't. But he did a really good job early on, so... Wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna do so once again. The only problem is that that spine crawler... Okay, well this is starting to hurt now. Yeah, 5 drones! Okay. Spine gets cancelled at the last possible second. Ay, 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 Leenock. Are you just going for the quick 2-0? Oh god, the 2 drones are running. This is a disaster right now. Oh my... 6 drones?! Yeah, this is what you're looking for, right? So right now, we have a very similar follow-up for Leenock. I mean, it's a little bit different, obviously, but... he's got no gas, he's got a couple queens, but he still has the natural low ground, right? And he's got 18 workers right now going up against someone who just lost 6 of them. That's massive. So this is the type of opener that you're really looking for. It's only a handful of links here as a follow-up as well, so... At the very least, Leenock is going to be forced to make a couple Zerglings here, because otherwise the queens go down, and you don't really want that. But yeah, second queen is gonna spawn. Okay, gets 1 drone for free. Don't know why. Second drone. Okay, taking a little bit of damage with good control there this time around. Isn't it crazy, though, that these guys faced off for the first time in 2011? By the way, fun bit of trivia, because I was just freshening up my memory of Leenock a little bit. Apparently, did he just go double gas? Oh, double gas in a natural, so if it gets scouted, the opponent might think it's Mutas. That's kind of clever, actually. Rather than going gases in the main, he's just going entirely in the... Anyways. He apparently managed to qualify for the GSL at 15 years old. I forgot about that. It was quite common back in the day for young players to just, like, since everyone was kind of bad at the game, right, in the early days, no one was very good, at least, like, if you compare it to the skill level right now. I mean, pretty sure the average Platinum League player would win the first GSL Code S, like, no joke. Like, Platinum League player in 2021, that is. Anyways, DRG right now going for a hyper-aggressive all-in, man. Man, I can't breathe in this series so far. These guys are just going at each other's throats. Wall is actually coming up right now. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is he made it to the GSL at 15. There you go. Evo Chamber will definitely need, yeah, 4 here. He's gonna try and recreate the wall off, but guess what? Leenock is not a Protoss player, and therefore he doesn't know how to make walls. GG. Alrighty, so here we go. Final game of this best of 3 series. We are on Oxide. Can we have, like, both players are starting off with drones this time around. That's something. Can we have a little bit more of a macro focus game this time around? I would not mind that. Okay, so while we're at it, let me actually have a quick look. So there's this website called sc2revealed.com. Since players on the Korean server mostly play under barcodes, it can be quite difficult to figure out who's who, right? So, okay, I was curious, yeah. So, Leenock is also playing under a barcode name, meaning, like, it's basically looking like that. So, a couple of uppercase I's and then a couple of lowercase L's. So, basically, it's very hard to recognize who's who. Anyways, if you jump into the replays, usually by, like, hotkey patterns and hotkey setups and all that, you can figure out who's what, and then it can be submitted to sc2revealed.com. Anyways, it turns out Leenock right now on the Korean Grandmaster League ladder is sitting at 6.4k MMR. Which definitely puts him below, like, Dark and, for example, Rogue. But, yeah, not with a significant margin. Apparently, Sue, by the way, I found out that, yeah, Sue is apparently sitting at 6.8k MMR. Now, Sue, I mean, that's a name you may not have heard in a little while. Sue is currently in the military. So, obviously, you get some days off as well. So, I don't know how Sue is doing it, but Sue is apparently, yeah, playing a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes his return sometime in the future as well. As far as DRG goes... Maybe Dong Regu? No. Okay, I can't find any account of DRG on the ladder, but it doesn't mean he doesn't, you know, play on the ladder. He might not, actually. A lot of players do prefer playing custom games over and over and over again. That would actually explain why DRG has been so clean in holding those early game pushes. Because basically what you do is you dedicate a week to defending 12 pools, right? And it turns out if you dedicate an entire week practicing with one of those top-level Zergs, and you're basically taking turns executing 12 pools against each other, yeah, at some point you get really good and you don't really die to those anymore, right? And that's, I think, probably the preferred way of playing. Although there's definitely a reason to a ladder as well. The thing is, right, this is kind of... So since we have more of a macro game here... Well, a Zerg versus Zerg macro game, that is. The thing is, if you play... So say for example, right, you're practicing 12 pools over and over and over again. You're going to be playing against the most optimized version of a 12 pool because that's just, you know, the hardest one to defend. However, the problem is on the ladder especially, there's a lot of unoptimal builds or builds that are purposefully played differently to be theoretically weaker, but that can still definitely catch you off guard, if that makes any sense. So there's definitely, yeah, value in just playing a whole lot of ladder games as well. Seems like a lot of pros enjoy playing ladder and then a lot of them don't. It's hard to say exactly... what you want to go for. Anyways, okay, so the first injects are popping off. Zerglings are coming out. The Leenoktopus is ready once again to make a whole lot of those all at once. Bailing Nest, though, has been made here by DRG this time. I don't mind that at all. He's got a third hatch coming up. Same on the other side of the map. DRG hasn't actually seen it. What's this? Okay, yeah, that's... Sometimes I don't understand, like, a lot of these moves. Like, what is the advantage of not seeing the third base? I guess... There's no advantage, by the way. Okay, very curious position right there on those Baneling Morphins. He's gonna start sending Zerglings across the map right now, but there's a ton of links coming out of Leenock. Look at that mini-map. He's just streaming more and more Zerglings across. He's looking to get a cancel on the third base. A couple of Zerglings right now to the other side of the map as well. Apparently tasked with killing Brenda. Brenda just popped out of the hatchery, but she did. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, yeah, the Banelings have finished up, and that third base is only about halfway or so to dying. As long as it's above 0 health, everything is a-okay. Right now, it's Leenock, though, who's making a couple drones. He's adding on a Baneling Nest here as well, so he's going to be forced to be the defensive player. It's a lot of... Okay, good control there by Leenock, but there's a lot of Banelings coming up. Let's see. Oh god, okay. Yeah. Starting to look an awful lot like my ladder games right now. Was that a self-roast or a roast of the pros? I'm not sure. Alright, yeah, so they're trying to dance around, right? Basically what you want to do, if you trade 2 or 3 Zerglings for 1 Baneling, that's awesome. So that's awesome right there. If you lose a lot, though, obviously it's bad, right? Yeah, some mistakes being made right now on both sides of the map, but or both sides, I guess, of this particular game. By the way, I am quite excited. Like, the reason I bring it up, by the way, why Su was so highly ranked on the ladder, is because he was always one of the very best Zerg players, and I think that the current meta of, like, a lot of aggressive Ravager and Queen pushes, right, against, like, pretty much everything, I think that it really suits his playstyle, so... Like, basically, Su was one of those Zerg players who didn't really play late game. He just didn't. He just played more mid game. So since Zerg doesn't really seem to enjoy playing late game right now, and it's just not as good as it once was, I think it really suits his playstyle. Once again, good detonation right there. It takes 2 Banelings to kill one of your opponent's Banelings. Brenda over there also targeting it down. All right. You know what? Blows have been taken on both sides of the map. In the end, I think there's a slight advantage right now for DRG, but it's not huge. It's not huge, yeah. He's got the lair, he's got the, just the tech advantage here ever so slightly. I would love to see him starting up +1 missile, especially once he reaches 100 gas here. He's still, he's a little bit concerned. He's making a bunch of roaches. Maybe he just wants to go for an assault once again. He has shown, dude, these guys, look at this. The Koreans play so aggressively in this matchup, it's insane. Like, the Koreans in general play more aggressively than, say, Europeans do. Oh my god, he's trying to block his opponent from going into the base by morphing in Banelings there. Yeah, they play more aggressively for sure than you see on the European and even the American server as well. Interesting. I think theoretically speaking, like, I don't see, say for example, Raynor or Sero or Lambo or Elazer, like, I don't see those guys ever dying to pushes like this. So I think theoretically they're probably inferior, but since pro gamers are humans, it's very difficult, you know, to play perfectly. There's a couple of guys that are really good at it, but... I do think, theoretically speaking, macro ZVZ is better, but I do think, even though Dark has been very successful against European Zerg players, I do think that the Europeans are probably better overall at playing ZVZ, so they're playing far less aggressively, but the Koreans definitely have had a lot of success as well, just because they're exploiting the humanity, right, of players. This is crazy, but turns out if you're human, you may very well not be perfect. Like, not you guys, obviously. Like, you guys are all perfect, but the pro gamers, you know? The noobs. Ooh, it's gonna be a Spire transition. Alrighty. We're knocking down the Baneling Nest over here, just because the Baneling Nest, its age is over. He's going Spire, but also +1 missile and roach speed. So this screams to me as someone who wants to make like 10 Mutas and then no more, right? So he's scouting around right now as well, trying to figure out if his opponent has a Spire. Because if your opponent has a Spire, you also kind of need to make your own Spire units a lot more. Because more Mutas beat less Mutas. There is a... Leenock! What's this? It's an Overlord in the middle of nowhere! Poop and creep just to put down a Spire. Okay, well, he did get the Council right there on the hatch as well. It's just that his opponent's Spire is far quicker. Yeah, so in ZVZ, the meta has kind of changed from going from Roaches into Hydras and eventually Lurkers and stuff. It's kind of changed to just putting down a Spire whenever you feel like it. Because it turns out it's very difficult to actually get stuff done when you're in the middle of that Hydra transition. It's not that it's not good, it's just hard that, you know, to get there. It takes a lot of time and a lot of resources. Okay, so Mutas are already out right now for DRG. Once again, a couple of Roaches were left on over to the 4th base, but it will be killed. No cancel. That being said, Leenock, yeah, you're either going to have to engage or you're going to have to run. He decides to run. Spire's going to finish up very shortly here as well, though, for the player in blue. Oh, no. That's awkward. That is so awkward. The man just sent and chased a couple Zerglings and accidentally found a Spire. It's hidden, quote unquote. Oh, he starts up 11 Corruptors. That's actually kind of cool. So when you can't really fight the Mutas with Mutas, Corruptors are actually not a bad choice. Starts up a couple of Spores here as well. DRG, though, still does have a lot of roaches. So I think the age of the Muta is going to be gone soon. The age of the flying units, that is. Yeah, they're just going to try and shove forward here to try and go at each other's throats, with the Mutas just tickling away at whatever they can find. Corruptors are finished right now, though, so the Mutas will have to fly. Roaches are still going to town. I think there's enough for Leenock to defend here, at least initially. Yeah, it's not a terrible trade. Where are the upgrades at? So it's both +1 in speed. Yeah. Defender's advantage is huge. Basically just the fact that these roaches spawn closer to the battle. The reinforcing roaches, that is really nice. So now this hit squad of Corruptors. It's good against the Mutas, but it's also a little bit awkward because they're going to soak up a lot of supplies. So Leenock definitely wants to keep fighting, because as soon as these armies max out, he's going to have like 20-ish supply, no more, in dead weight of, you know, Corruptors. I mean, you can snipe Overlords with it, which is actually not a bad idea. I would love to see those things going around the map. Problem is, though, yeah, there's still the Mutalisk, right? And actually, right now, DRG is definitely starting to pile or go through this quite nicely. Even the Mutas now join in the fray, too. Corruptors a little bit away from this battle, meaning that the Mutas get some nice hits in. Once again, Mutas are going to have to run, but I think this may actually just have been barely enough for DRG to just break through the defenses right here of Leenock, because now that third base is going to be in a lot of trouble. A couple drones ended up falling on the other side of the map as well, but I think that this is the real battle we need to look at right now. Yeah, GG is just simply cold, as DRG has way more roaches than Leenock can deal with, and because of that, he obtains the victory. A very aggressive series of Zerg versus Zerg, and maybe, I mean, maybe I've been casting a lot more macro-focused ZVZs over the course of the last couple of months. It's not like I've been covering that many Zerg versus Zergs on the YouTube channel in general, but this is what a lot of ZVZs look like. It's just a very explosive matchup, and it's very easy to accidentally lose. Which is why a lot of people get very excited when you have like Dark versus Rogue, or Rogue versus Serral, or Raynor versus Dark, or, you know, any of those matchups. Because the top 4 Zerg players in the world, they can make this matchup look absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this was a fun series, right? Mostly because they went so aggressively. But you can imagine if I cover one of these every single second cast that I do, you'd probably get bored of them quite quickly. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this particular series. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. Also, if you're interested in other games than StarCraft 2, make sure to check out my second channel. Starting later this week, actually, yeah, tomorrow, I think, if you're watching this video on the day that it goes live, my Dark Souls 2 playthrough will go up on that channel. So that's youtube.com/morelowko. Link is down below in the description. Anyways, for now, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.